No te teléfono para comprarte uno.
Lo perdí ahí.
Así está, ya cuando comienzan a esa edad ya comienzan a perder las cosas. Me not showing up. I almost didn't show up.
All right, good morning. We want to welcome you this morning to the Drainage District Board of Directors meeting for today, June 25th, 2013. Present are Commissioners Cuellar, Precinct 1, Palacios, Precinct 2, Flores, Precinct 3, and myself. We have a quorum. Anything under open forum?
No, sir.
All right, our consent agenda.
Judge, no concerns.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 4.
Item 4A, requesting approval of final negotiated contract for professional appraisal services with Leonel Garza Jr. and Associates as it relates to the J09 project approved for negotiation by Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1 Board of Directors, June 4th, 2013. We do have a negotiated cost of $2,100 per parcel with Leonel Garza for the J09.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B, requesting approval to negotiate title commitment services contract with both title companies on the district's pool of title company services as it relates to the J09 project on a rotation basis. We have two firms, Valley Land Title and Edwards Abstract, and what we'll do, it'll be rotating on the item, one parcel, next parcel, et cetera.
Judge, I've got a question.
Yes, sir.
I've heard some comments that it's taking a long time to get title reports. There seems to be a problem. I don't know what the
There
problem.
seems to be some type of, I don't know, I don't want to use the word delay, Commissioners, but we feel like they're not being expedited, not just on the district, but on the county's part. It's just taking, I believe, an excess amount of time associated with that. I would like for the right-of-way department to report to the board of directors on what they feel is a delay. They're the ones that are engaged on our behalf on getting the title commitments, not myself specifically.
Maybe the economy's coming back up.
Well,
Which companies are delaying it?
All of them.
Well, I mean, we need to talk to them and see if they're interested in doing our work. I'm sure that we worked it out with one particular company. They'd be out there giving us fast service.
And again, Judge, again, part of the issue, what I hear is, well, that's just a process, and that's just a process, but it's just 3-4
Now,
months.
I used to represent a title company. It depends on how much importance you place on a project.
It's a big, what, around 6 weeks or something like that?
Yes, sir. And you've seen it, Commissioner, and the other commissioners have seen it, but the ones that has a one-to-one dealing is our right-of-way agents, and I believe they can give you a better reasoning or excuse for it.
well, I don't think it's a matter of excuses. I think it's a matter of getting the work out. If they can handle it, do we have a shortage? Only 2 people that can provide the service?
There's 3 companies that are out there, Commissioner, and we just re-advertised 4 months ago and only 2 submitted, which are these 2.
Why don't we send them a letter expressing our concern and requesting that they, be a little bit more prompt in doing our work,
Okay, sir.
and let's see what happens.
Very good, sir.
Can you work with Yolanda on that letter so we can
I
send
will
it
work
out?
with Ms. Chapa to get a letter drafted up, Judge, for your signature.
Thank you.
Next item?
No, that's,
We didn't vote on it.
Oh, okay.
Do we have a vote in a motion?
Yeah,
Move for
to
approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
On 2008 bond series, requesting approval of work authorization number 5 in the amount of $250,000 to TED Infrastructure Group, Inc., as it relates to additional services required by Hidalgo County Precinct 1 for Hidalgo County Master Drainage System Plan. The Commissioner has requested the services of TEDC to review ongoing projects that are being reviewed on his behalf in Precinct Number 1.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 5, acceptance of donation deed without warranty grantor La Cuesta Sol Development LTD, lots 10, 11, 12, and 13. out of Engelman Re-subdivision, Volume 6, page 41, map records, Hidalgo County. This is an existing ditch that Mr. Scott Campbell's company is donating to the district. We had an easement, now he's donating it fee simple.
All right, move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries.
Item 6A, approval of the following personnel action. Deleting slot number 55, safety coordinator, with a budget of $37,142.11, and requesting the creation of slot 14, administrative clerk, for $37,142.11.
Move for approval.
Oh,
Second.
1 second. Is
What?
it slot 13 or 14?
It's 14, I'm sorry, it's a typo. I apologize. It's slot 14.
14.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B, approval of revised salary schedule as listed, which is $37,142.11, which is the same salary.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
We have no item under closed session at this time for the board's consideration.
I need a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. It is 9:15. We're going to reconvene our regular meeting of the court at 9:30. Thank you. Morning. Hi, Eva. Welcome all of you here this morning to the regular meeting of the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court for today, June 25th, 2013. The entire court being present, we have a quorum. Please join us in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Townsend.
Dear Father in heaven, we come to you this morning. First of all, we want to thank you for the privilege of living in a free country where we're able to meet and have meetings like this, where we work together for the good of all the people. We ask you to bless our nation, bless the world, help it have peace, bless our families, and we ask all of these things in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
At this time, we're going to be proceeding to item 6B, recognition of Mr. Ernest Aliceda and his appointment to the University of Texas System Board of Regents. Certainly a pleasure to be here this morning and involved in this acknowledgement, to thank our Governor Rick Perry for appointing a true South Texan to this very prestigious board. It's been a good year for South Texas higher education, and this is kind of, well, this is a crowning achievement. Now we got somebody directly at that proverbial table that'll be able to speak in our behalf. So it certainly is a pleasure and an honor to welcome you here this morning, Mr. Aliceda. Yes, go ahead.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. Karina Cardoza with the Public Affairs Office. Yes, we are here today to honor a very humble Mr. Judge Ernest Aliceda on his appointment as UT System Board of Regents. He's joined here today with his wife, Ms. Debbie Crane Aliceda, who is actually the present McAllen ISD Board President. His parents are also in the audience, Laura and Dr. Jose Luis Aliceda. And we'd also like to recognize the presence of UTPA President Robert Nelson and the UTPA Provost Avidan Rodriguez, who are joining us here on this occasion. So Judge Aliceda of McAllen, Texas, presently serves as municipal court judge for the city of McAllen and a major in the U.S. Army Reserves. He earned his undergraduate degree from Texas A&M University and received his doctorate from the University of Houston. And I say humble because he is very appreciative of this appointment, and we are very glad of what this will mean for Hidalgo County and for our area. So if I may please read the resolution. Resolution in honor of UT Regent Ernest Aliceda. Whereas Ernest Aliceda of McAllen, Texas has been a longtime advocate for education and opportunity and has led a distinguished legacy of service to his community, to his profession, his state and country. And whereas Aliceda is the son of Laura and Jose Luis Aliceda, MD, a now retired medical doctor who served the Valley community for over 30 years. Aliceda grew up in McAllen, attended McAllen Public Schools, and graduated from McAllen Memorial High School in 1984. Earning his undergraduate degree from Texas A&M University while attending summer school sessions at then Pan American University, and receiving his Juris Doctorate degree from the University of Houston Law Center. And whereas Aliceda has previously been elected to serve in various leadership capacities by members of the legal profession to posts such as State Bar Director, President of the Hidalgo County Bar Association, and President of Hidalgo County Young Lawyers Association. And whereas Aliceda has served as State District Judge for both 398th and 139th State District Courts, and was later selected to serve as Commissioner on the Governor's Texas Military Preparedness Commission after returning from active military duty with the Army. And whereas Aliceda is presently the Managing Director for the Loya Insurance Group, serves as a municipal court judge for the City of McAllen and a major in the U.S. Army Reserves Judge Advocate General Corps, and volunteers his time as a volunteer judge for the McAllen Teen Court Program and as a Vice President of the McAllen Citizens League. And whereas in February 2013, Aliceda was appointed to a 6-year term on the University of Texas System Board of Regents by Governor Rick Perry, where he will be a valuable asset and tremendous resource to the University of Texas System on key decisions which will affect Hidalgo County as they relate to the new university and medical school. The appointment was confirmed by the Texas Senate on May 24, 2013. And whereas Aliceda is married to Debbie Crane Aliceda of McAllen, who presently serves as school board president for McAllen ISD, and they have 5 children: Cristina, 20, Nicolas, 20, Alexandra, 19, Sophia, 13, and Natalie, 5. Now therefore be it resolved that the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court hereby recognizes and congratulates the Honorable Ernest Aliceda on his appointment to the University of Texas System Board of Regents and thanks him for his continued legacy of service to his community, to the residents of Hidalgo County, and to the state of Texas.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimously.
Judge and Commissioners, I want to thank you for this honor. I was talking to Karina yesterday, and I told her I haven't had my first meeting. Y'all are setting the flipper bar very high. Obviously, it's an exciting time for a Valley resident to serve on the UT Board of Regents. We have some exciting things happening with the merger of the 2 schools and with the new medical school. I think that the Chancellor and the Regents envision a university that'll span the entire valley, with each metropolitan area having a presence, a UT presence. I think that this is a great opportunity for the valley. It's going to be transformational, not only from an economic standpoint, but also from an educational standpoint. I think you'll see an increase not only in federal funding, but also in private funding. I think that you'll see an increase in construction. I also think that you'll see an increase in biomedical research. All these are good things. More importantly, I think that you'll see educational opportunities in the Valley for our high school graduates increase. And that's obviously the most important thing that this new medical school and this new merger between UTV and UTPA is going to create. I'm going to ask for your guidance and support over the next 5.5 years, because obviously I'm going to be looking to you each step of the way, because this is going to be a learning process not only for me, but it also, I think, is going to be a great opportunity for us here in the Valley. Thank you again for this resolution. I'm really appreciative. Obviously, I wouldn't be able to do this without the support of my wife, my family, and my employers, who certainly believe it's important to take away time from work to serve our community and to serve our state and to serve the UT system in this capacity. Thank you.
I'm not sure if Dr. Nelson, I want to make sure we recognize and acknowledge the presence of Dr. Nelson, President of UT Pan Am. I'm not sure if you were wanting to say a few words or...
Siempre. Okay, always. We talk about the new university, and it is a marvelous thing that is going to happen here. But to have a regent, to have a voice from the Valley to support that new university as we move forward is really important. That the governor realized that and brought us forward with someone as strong as Regent Aliceda. That is amazing, and it's the right thing. I look forward to what we're going to accomplish. His leadership will be important. His vote on that board will be important. He is the one that will be our advocate when we need a new building down here so that we have access to the permanent university fund. He will be our advocate as we develop the new medical school. He will be our advocate as we move forward in research. Today is a great day. It's as historic as I can remember. It's as historic as when the new university was founded. Because finally, yes, Judge, you're right. We've got somebody at that proverbial table. So, thank you.
Judge, you can join us in the front for a picture with the court. Stand right here. Once again, congratulations on behalf of Hidalgo County. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hagan.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Bobby Villarreal with the County Judge's Office. Item 6C is a presentation by the Hidalgo County Regional Mobility Authority on their annual report. We have Pilar Rodriguez, Dennis Burleson, and Louis Jones from the RMA here to present.
Judge Garcia, Commissioners, we are happy to come before you. We have all given you our formal delivery of our annual report, and we're happy to do that. We recently have adopted a strategic plan that in the next 7 or 8 years we expect to have $450 million of development and construction under our belts, leading to over $1.5 billion over the next 20 years or so. We have some exciting news from TxDOT. And for the details, I'd like to turn the presentation over to our program manager, Louis Jones, and Executive Director, Pilar Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, for the record, I'm Louis Jones, a program manager for the HCRMA. The slide that you see before you, we've been before you quite a few times. We've explained our short-term plan, but we want to kind of explain it in conjunction now with our, between the partnership between the county, the RMA, and TxDOT. The projects that you see up on this slide are hoping to be under construction by the year 2016. That's assuming we can find construction dollars for IBTC. As you can see, that's quite a few miles of projects, but in that partnership, there's been a lot happened over the last year or so. In the next slide with our capital improvement plan for the short term, the RMA itself will be developing what's now State Highway 365, which basically ties the bridges of Anzaduas and the Far Bridge together. We hope in the future, I think maybe everybody has heard that the legislature has approved the overweight corridor, and we hope that 365 will become part of that overweight corridor in the future once we get it constructed, which we think will help the movement of some of the produce that is expected to come into the area. Both 365, we're still on target for having the environmental approval in April of next year. At that point in time, we're going to have to purchase the property, which is a significant amount of property. We still have our own line that we should be under construction in 2016 and open in 2018. We've recently had a value engineering meeting. I think we had reported to you earlier that we were short somewhere around $18 million on the development of 365, but through this value engineering, we found some items that we can either defer or reduce the scope of that will close that gap. So we're finalizing that right now. So we believe that with those findings, we should be in budget with 365. This year, we plan to move a lot more rapid than we had in the past. We're going to be under design, full design on 365 in the next several months. So by the time we have the environmental document done, we'll be pretty close to having the project designed and the right-of-way mapping done so we can move immediately into right-of-way acquisition, which will probably take somewhere close to a year. So we are moving rapidly in that. I kind of probably have jumped to the other slide, but the total development cost of the 365 was somewhere around $247 million. That includes construction, engineering, right-of-way acquisition, movement of the utilities. So you can see it's quite an undertaking. And our partner TxDOT is investing somewhere around $119 million with us on that project. Also to point out, we have that project broken into two phases. Phase one basically stops at the Ansiduous Bridge, but we also are environmentally clearing with another partner that have invested money with us, which the City of Mission has put up some money to assist us to clear the project all the way to Conway, and that will be phase two. Right now, we don't have that program for construction in the short term, but we'll be looking at that closely, and once we get it cleared, we'll be looking at how we can buy right away and move forward with that as well. So it's also moving along with our environmental clearance on 365. And again, we appreciate the mayor and all the things he's done for the City of Mission to help us with that. On to the IBTC, which I didn't go through what the definition of these are. Most of you have been heavily involved in this, probably much longer than I have, but the IBTC will move traffic from 365, the Donna Bridge up north up to US 83, which will at that point in time connect to what we used to call Segment D, which is now State Highway 68. And through another partner, TxDOT, they have come up with funding to be able to move that one forward as well. So we're holding off on the federal environmental clearance on the IBTC because we don't want it to affect 365. But as soon as we get notice that we're going to get a FONSI on 365, which is going to be sometime in April, we plan to move and clear the IBTC in short order. I think it should be pointed out that through the efforts of the previous RMA boards and the county and the consultants that were there, there had been significant work done on IBTC towards the environmental clearance. We are still able to take advantage of those documents, and the way we're going to do that is we're going to have a local clearance this year of that, which allows us to buy some choice parcels of property in the short term until we have federal clearance. And the reason we're federally clearing it is because we're going to need to approach our partner TxDOT and see if we can get some more cash infusion into our construction program. So we'll need to federally clear that. But we're going to be moving forward on that. We plan to, if the RMA board adopts it, which we're going to have up in July, we plan to go ahead and try to acquire or procure all of the engineers, surveyors for that project, and hopefully be going on the IBTC toward the end of the year. Now, the previous consultants had actually done a schematic on the IBTC, but they had not done a low-level flight, which is required to be able to tie down the topo. We have started that, and we will have that done before the end of the year. So by the end of the year, we'll have a draft or pretty much a final schematic ready to be approved on the IBTC. We do have the funding to move through engineering. We will need be looking for assistance to finalize right-of-way acquisition as well as construction. So that's our second project that we're taking the lead on. The next two projects that I think are pretty exciting for the area is that through the efforts of TxDOT, the county, and the RMA working together, TxDOT has procured funds for La Jolla Bypass, over $60 million to try to move that forward. They plan to construct the frontage roads with no grade separations, and then in the future, when it's economically feasible, the RMA plans to come in and build a toll road in the middle of that for the main lanes. That will significantly help the RMA in that the right-of-way will be purchased, it will be environmentally clear, utilities move, so it will simplify us moving in for a toll road. So I think that's a very beneficial project for the west side of the county, and TxDOT's moving forward on that. Again, they're looking at construction starting somewhere in the 2016 timeframe as well. The next project that's been fairly recent is what you see on the right-hand side, which was what we used to call Segment D, and it has now been designated State Highway 68. Again, through the partnership, TxDOT has acquired about $85 to $87 million to be able to federally clear that project from US 83, where IBTC intersects, all the way north of Edinburgh, which is close to 20 miles. They will acquire the right-of-way, move the utilities, and then they have construction dollars to build the frontage roads with no overpasses up to Monte Cristo, which is about 10 miles. And again, we will evaluate that job and be building a toll road with the main lanes at the time it becomes financially feasible up to Monte Cristo, and as well looking to assist in extending that in the future when it's financially feasible. So when you look at all of those, there's been a lot of activity. I know it's been a little slow going, and we've been kind of quiet, and in some ways that's good. There hadn't been a lot of drama. Everybody's been just working, trying to move forward. You know, these projects take quite a while to develop, but they're starting to develop, and we're going to be accelerating those. And at this point in time, I was going to turn it over to the executive director and let him go through the audited report, and any questions after he gets through, I'll be glad to answer. Thank you.
Judge and Commissioners, just want to go quickly through the highlights of our annual audit provided to us earlier this year. The authority's net position increased to $5.2 million this year, which means that our revenues from the vehicle registration fee grew and performed better than last year. Our capital assets also grew from $25.6 million to $31.3 million, and our long-term liabilities decreased from 12.1 to 10.7 million. That's because we've been servicing the debt on a line of credit that was established by the RMA. One thing that we wanted to touch bases with you very quickly that we'd like the board to consider here in the near future is the The Commissioners Court has authorized the RMA to pledge the vehicle registration fees towards long-term transportation projects here in the county. However, we still need to formalize that through a formal agreement that spells out all the details, and we hope that the Commissioners Court will consider here in the near future. My understanding is that the attorneys have all looked at it, and I think it's pretty close to where it can be presented to the Commissioners Court. With that said, we'd like to hopefully issue some debt here in the near future for approximately $30 million that will be used to, number one, take care of the outstanding debt on the line of credit, and then for development costs for State Highway 365 and the International Border Trade Corridor, and as well as construction of State Highway 365. We also plan to establish a reserve fund, and of course, there's some financing costs that go with that bond sale. And we hope to have the Commissioners Court consider that hopefully here in the near future. With that said, I'd like to turn it over to the chairman just to provide some closing remarks.
Thank you, Pilar and Louis. Just to reiterate, the action will be coming before you in hopefully the next meeting, if not a later meeting in July, would be your approval of our financing plan to borrow money on the vehicle registration fee. Just to make clear to those who are new to this discussion, the county's credit is not affected. This is completely a revenue bond that is secured by your continued partnership. With the partnership with the county, and you guys have been great, you've got good appointees, I encourage you to communicate with them, and maybe we all need to move a little faster, but prudently. If you kind of added all of the figures that Mr. Jones and Mr. Rodriguez kind of laid out, there's $400 million or so of construction between us and TxDOT that the RMA helped influence that will be happening in the next couple of years. Those are jobs to the county. They're increased property values because now we're going to have frontage on major highways that is currently farmland. There are good things happening in the transportation world, and as our economy continues to boom, we hope, the RMA will be there. We want to thank you for the opportunity to come before you, and any of us are available to answer any questions if you have any.
Does any member of the court have any questions?
No.
On the vehicle registration, to be able to get this bond, how long is it going to be tied up? Are we going to be able to do it yearly, or you want it every 10 years, or what?
The agreement that's contemplated, Commissioner, is an agreement where we would be able to pledge that against the bonds, and of course the bonds are a formal agreement, multi-years. You're talking about 15, 20, 30-year bonds.
So once we do approve this, I mean, the vehicle registration would be, I guess, collateral for that bond.
Yes, and that's the way we are able to do that without affecting the county's general credit, because we know the county has other needs out of its regular tax revenue.
But I think that fee has to be approved every year by Commissioners Court.
So,
well, the approval by Commissioners Court is a feature, but the bond would be secured by that. So it does tie the hands of the Commissioners Court that they can't undo the $10 fee until the bonds are paid.
What I'm saying, that the amount of the fee has to be approved every year. So by pledging the whatever amount it is, they're going to have to approve that amount from now till the end of the bond.
For 30 years.
Auditor, that's not, Cameron County has already passed, and the Attorney General has approved a borrowing, a multi-year pledge. So If the court's pleasure is that we have a multi-year pledge, it can happen. It's already happened.
My next
It's already
question-
happened here in Hidalgo County with our current bank line.
Yeah, Dennis?
Then
hold on.
my next question is, if this is going to be pledged for 30 years, what's going to happen to the other half of the loop? It's going to be built after 30 years? Will we get more money? Will we
Well,
use those bonds?
we're your partners, and if you, for some reason, think that the $10 fee is not used correctly, you have the power to...
No, but I'm saying, I mean, it's going to be tied up for 30 years, say.
Yes, sir.
So we're still going to need half of the loop to be able to complete the whole loop. So we don't have any plans for the rest of the stuff for 30 years?
Well, the $10 fee will actually borrow about $70 million. That's the method that we won, make up part of the construction dollars for 365, and are able to do the work we need to do on the bridge connector to the expressway in the central part of the county. We'll be happy to lay that out with you. I think our bond counsel and the bond counsel for the county have made this presentation to you before, and it's an innovative way to leverage a small fee that you can. We've attracted about $400 million of TxDOT money to the county for projects because we have this fee. So,
How much are we going to be borrowing, or the RMA going to be borrowing?
go ahead, Louis. I think the total, Judge, is about $70 million is the contemplated plan.
And to be repaid over the 30-year period or less?
Right, the 70 million or so that we would leverage in 2 installments using the $10 fee would be over a 30-year period, and then we would have to use bond toll. We're going to sell bonds from the projected tolls to cover the remaining part of the $247 million development cost of the project, less $70 million, less the $119 million that we have that we're getting from TxDOT. So we will have, when we get ready to construction, we will have a bond sale that will be based on the tolls of the project. It will not be based on county backing, at least at this point, in any way. It would be on the face of the amount of tolls that we could project. If you take a look at the projections out on this project, 365 and IBTC, out 10, 12, 15 years out, they start making some significant dollars, which those dollars would allow us to further expand the loop. We could pay off the bonds that we have outstanding at that point in time, backed on the $10 fee. There's a whole lot of things that can be done once we start having a cash flow, and of course, everything that we have to do, we have to come before the court and get, and so the court will have a significant say in what we do with additional monies that we have when we get out 10, 15 years out. So it's not a short-term look, but when you look out to the projections, it does look pretty good when you get out further out.
I've got another question.
Yes, sir.
There's a little space there between Conway and goes over where it hits on the bypass. How much would it cost the county and the city to include that little piece there?
To go from US 83, where we're going to hit La Jolla, around to where we're ending our environmental?
Yeah, see this little piece right here? From
yes.
Conway west up to all the way through, and then up
Right.
toward the La Jolla
Well,
bypass.
to clear it environmentally and get the right-of-way, I don't have that number in front of
But I
me.
mean, me as a county commissioner from that area, and I'm pretty sure that the city mayor commission would at least try to work with you guys to see if we can get it done, because if we don't do it now,
Right.
I mean, it's never going to be done.
What we could do,
Well,
Commissioner, is
Keep in mind
Yes, sir.
that we need to continue to do the work and the planning for the IBTC, whatever term you use. You know, the registration fee comes from the whole county. So my concern is that need to include the planning for the whole loop. It's not a east-west or central expenditure we're looking at. So, secondly, what I want to do is congratulate the board members. They're doing a good job of involving and disseminating information regarding the project. And I've been attending some of the meetings. I'm impressed with the participation and involvement from the whole board. The other item I want to bring out, at some point, I think when we start looking at
Sounds very reasonable.
the registration fee and issuing additional bonds, we also need to look at what kind of agreement the court would be looking at to include the county to be part of the process in owning a certain percentage of the total project and being a full partner in that manner. I'm looking for if it's going to generate some income for the county at some point in time, maybe 15, 20 years down the road. But we need to start looking at generating some additional revenue for the county.
Dennis, a quick question, a clarification. Starting, I know we were talking about 30 years. Originally, I saw a document that said 40 years. Are we tapering it to a 30-year lock-in on the?
I thought it was 30. Commissioner, you may be right that there may be some of the bonds that go out to as long as 40 years. Let me reiterate. Except for myself and a representative of the city of McAllen, the RMA board is you. You appoint 5 of the 7 board members. You actually have approval rights of the 6th board member from McAllen. As the auditor stated, there's an annual review of how we're using the vehicle registration fee. A bond pledge would take precedence over that annual review. But we are currently and plan to be conservative and always have an excess of the vehicle registration fee that's retained. We want to be your partner in deciding how we do that. As Commissioner Palacios said, all of the activities of the RMA, its toll rates after we pay our bonds, you have the input to tell us what the toll rates are. You have the inputs to tell us which county roads are built, whether they're toll roads or whether they're free roads. This is really, the RMA is really a capital improvements arm of the county. If you tell us in the future when we have excess revenue that we need to be more concerned about the drainage that transportation improvements have caused, you can tell us and you can mandate that we make sure that we handle the obligations. The only requirement is that any funds that we receive have to be spent on infrastructure. But that frees up a lot of the county budget for other things, and that's a long-term goal.
Dennis, if I may, I've always been in support of the RMA. I think they've done an impeccable job. I think the county's done an impeccable job at talking to our legislators that are out there. We've been beneficiaries of Highway 68, and I know Commissioner Flores has also been very instrumental in getting additional funds within those sectors. I think at the end of the day, it's been a cooperative effort without the cooperation. I think we've been beneficiaries of additional funding. The other question is, and I shared the same sentiments with Commissioner Palacios, is the county, again, it's a user fee. The people are paying this. The perspective is the same, is that we're being good fiduciary agents of every tax dollar. Leveraging it, we see it. Commissioner Flores, all the precincts are leveraging pretty well with state fundings on some of the state on-system, off-system roadways. One of the questions that I had was on the TERS. We developed an original TERS. To date, how much has it generated? I know that that's going to be an avenue for additional funding for the county as well. We did a quick analysis of what the TRZ is generating, and it's only, right now it's generating about $200,000 a year, approximately. Okay. And that's because the majority of it crosses farmland and ranch land, because that's where the majority of the loop alignment is located. Some of it does go through some urbanized areas, and that's where we're getting some of the valuation. Right.
Has that TERS agreement been finalized, executed?
No, sir. No, it has not been finalized. We've still been meeting with the county staff. I think we're pretty close to getting it finalized. But that will be one of the tools that we will want to use in the future to continue the planning and development of the other segments of the loop.
Right, and obviously, everything depends on a whole bunch of variables at this point in time. I mean, we can conceivably release the debt sooner, depending on how fast it ramps up.
Right.
But again, I stand wholeheartedly supportive of the RMA. We'd like to see a lesser term, not the longer term. Obviously, at the same time, in the spirit of compromise and cooperation, we'd like to work alongside with the RMA board to continue leveraging more state dollars, federal dollars, whatever we can do to realize it. I know the initial thought was to do an entire loop. Obviously, this approach is more of a methodical step process to getting where we need to get. But I think if everybody does their part, I think we can realize an entire loop in the future. Yes, sir.
So that TERS has not generated any revenues yet?
Not any significant revenues.
Nothing
yet.
significant.
Yeah, because I think he indicated that there's already $200,000 generated, but the agreement is not in place yet.
Right.
There's been discussions about forming the TERS, but I haven't been able to make any payment because it's not a final document
Right,
yet.
correct.
Now, the question that I have is for the chairman. He's saying that there's an AG's opinion that has been issued already. What specifically is that AG saying, Chairman?
Auditor, the Cameron County had a financing on the same fee that we did and issued bonds, $30 million for the bonds on their vehicle registration fee. We got an Attorney General's opinion on the bank debt that we had, that bank debt had a provision in it that it could be refinanced by a bond issue. So the path to use the vehicle registration fee as collateral for debt has already been secured twice. There are similar kinds of fee debt that are used continually for this kind of debt. But specifically the $10 vehicle registration fee, there's been 2 bond issuances that have been cleared through the Attorney General on that debt.
Okay, so in essence, any future commissioner's court will be bound to approve the $10 or more, right? At least $10 to be able to cover the debt service, basically?
Some future court, if the debt service could be handled on $8 and a future court decided that they only wanted to charge $8, they could do that. I don't think that would be wise, but as long as the debt service is handled, it is the court's discretion.
But is it realistic to think that in the future you're going to need less revenue than, because the costs are going to be increasing, and I think you're going to need more money than what you're going to be able to get out of the $10, I would think.
We hope that more highways and more jobs are worth the $10 fee, and we think we couldn't have gotten the money for Highway 68 if we had not done the earlier planning we did with the money. You have to plan long, you have to plan intermediate, and you have to plan for construction. And yes, there's a lot of planning there, but if you don't do the planning, you can't build a highway.
Dennis, along with that, Judge, if I may, I'm going to continue to encourage the RMA to make, if nothing else, a quarterly presentation in court so you can keep the court informed and the general public. They need to be on board.
Yes, sir. We'll do that, especially since we're hoping to ratchet up our efforts, and we'll be moving along a lot quicker. Commissioner Flores, just to answer your question, the tools that we'll be using to continue developments of other segments of the loop are the TRZ. We recently also received the overweight designation. That'll also generate some funds that we hope to leverage in the future. And the vehicle registration fee has been growing at a very healthy pace, and so we'll use part of that to service the debt on the bonds, but there is some growth in that, and so that additional growth, we'll be using it to advance projects.
All right.
All right, well, yes,
I want to
sir.
add one thing, that when you look at the long term, as Commissioner Palacios was mentioning, if you take Harris County, for example, Harris County Toll Road Authority, who started, in the toll business many years ago, but they now generate somewhere in the excess of $200 million a year that the county actually takes out of that coffers and uses to develop county roads. So in the future, that's what I think we're all looking for.
All right, well, thank you. Any other questions? No. Mr. Dennis, Mr. Burleson, Louis, Pilar, thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge and Commissioners. And we're happy to come before you, and I think we should take the suggestion that we suggest to staff that it be quarterly.
All right, sir.
Thank
Next item, our consent agenda. Any concerns?
Yes, Judge. I would like to ask that the consent agenda items, the following consent agenda item be pulled for discussion. 3D, St. David, 9B, 10A, 12A, 13B, 13D, 13I, and 13L.
Move for approval of consent agenda with exceptions listed by the county auditor.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Under consent agenda item 3D, Judge, just a point of information that the agenda caption should state Precinct 4 Curry Estate, Program 133, instead of Precinct 4 Curry Drain, Program 52. There's a correction needs to be made. So with that correction, recommend approval.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Consent agenda item 9B, another point of information that the affidavit for payment of membership dues, the form is attached, however, it's not signed, so we're going to need the form signed in order to process payment. So with that, I would like to recommend approval.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Consent agenda item 10A, there's no action needed at this point. Consent agenda item 12A, I believe that agenda item was placed under consent, but I believe it needs to be discussed in open forum. And let me read it for you. Or you're going to read it, Marty? Or?
No, sir,
Okay.
I'm here for mine.
All right. 12A. 12A is requesting approval to reimburse, for reimbursement to Mariano Manzano in the amount of $150 for expenses incurred during the Census CQR program, travel to Washington, D.C. as a claim with authority for the auditor, for the treasurer to issue a payment after the auditing procedures are completed. I think this agenda item was presented previously on the regular agenda and it was no action, and now we're bringing it back under consent.
This is from what I know about it, since my office was instrumental in booking that trip. This is as a result of it's an expense for cab fare, and inadvertently they went to the wrong airport to depart.
This is when we talked about a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And that's all it is. It's
I
a
thought we had already
reimbursement.
approved it.
Yeah, I thought so.
No, I don't think it was approved. It was, there was no action taken on the item.
But you're talking only the part of the taxing, not the full amount?
The action, there was no action taken, was presented in regular court a couple of weeks ago. The expense was incurred as a result of having to take a cab to the correct airport.
All right,
So, and do you have the bill for it and everything?
It was charged on a card, and they want to be reimbursed.
We got to pay it, no?
yeah, we got to pay
Yeah,
it.
if you want to pay it, yeah.
Yeah. Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Now, going on to item 13B, I do recommend that I don't believe it needs to be going to open the regular agenda for discussion. This is merely also a reimbursement for a benefit that clearly Hidalgo County received. So I recommend that you take
I don't
action.
believe so, Judge. Let me go over the agenda item. I'm going to read it for discussion. 13B is acceptance and approval of public purpose for the purchase of plaques for presentation to the Valley Legislative Delegation members. And I think this is the Commissioner's Court needs to approve the public purpose, and if you want to do that, then it's fine. But, so that's why it needs to be out on the, in open discussion.
You need an action to approve it as a public purpose?
Yes, the Commissioner's Court is going to declare the public purpose for this expense.
What was the expense for? I didn't.
The
For
plaques to
for
the
legislative,
delegation,
delegation members.
the plaques for the delegation members that clearly work toward a
Well, $245.
public good for Hidalgo County.
You need an action to approve it.
Yes, sir. It's posted that way. I don't understand the need to
All right.
actually take it separately.
This time, we'd entertain a motion to approve that particular item.
So moved.
It's two items.
It's two
A and
items, and
B.
the other one is
1 and 2.
A and B are 1 and 2? Okay.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye as to both items.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
The second item is, the second item that is under concern is 13D. This is under Urban County. This is, the no action is being recommended because we did give the account number. What Ms. Chavez is informing me, since they don't have access to the account numbers, we have now found the availability of funding in that account. That's $135,000. The expense anticipated would be $67,500. So that information has been duly given to the auditor's
I thought it was
office.
12,000, I guess 12,000 for the remaining 6 months?
Yes,
Okay.
only for the 6 months.
There's sufficient funds available, Marty, you say?
Yes, sir. There's
All right.
135 available. The expense would be $67,500.
Okay, good. You recommend approval?
Yes, sir.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
On item 13I,
Aye, right.
the item there, I think it's stemming, the incorrect figures are stemming, this morning we did some discussions with the auditor's office, with Ms. Esther Perez. We had been discussing it. I think it's a domino effect from payment apps 5 and 6. That's affecting this payment. But what we will advise vendor of any corrections that need to be made. I recommend that we proceed with approval.
I think one of the issues was the form was not certified by the architect.
Correct, that's one. But the
Right.
rest are the figures that don't fall in line, and that's been adjustments in apps
Right.
5 and 6, which affects 7. But I do recommend action. We will, of course, have everything corrected that needs to be.
So you recommended action on that?
Yes, sir.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Then consent item 13L. I have discussed this issue. Sufficient funding the caption is not in place. I believe Mr. Stilguero has information that such funding is in place.
It was not in place when we reviewed this agenda item. Has there been a transfer that you have made?
It's on the Tower Road, I believe.
Yeah, but I think there was a transfer made, but not for the entire amount, so there was lacking some money.
There was a payment made before or after we had seen the balance, and so we had to do another transfer that's on for the next agenda item. So we recommend that we approve it contingent on that transfer being
approval.
processed.
Subject to funding?
Yes, sir.
So moved.
It's already on the agenda for next.
Need a second?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And just to clarify, the caption is request acceptance and approval of work authorization 2 for R. Gutierrez Engineering on the Tower Road project.
Thank you, Marty.
Thank you,
Thomas
Marty.
Road, sorry, Thomas Road project. Thank you, that's all I have.
All right. Under open forum, we have one presenter, Opal Billman.
Good morning. My name is Opal Billman. I am an American citizen. I've got rights. They're called civil rights. My civil rights are being violated. I am being held in police-enforced false imprisonment and have been for 16 years. Why? Because I was sued for a divorce? Does that sound reasonable? Of course not. It's for 72 acres of land with capital improvements that Joe Billman and I bought and have never sold. The judge did not include our community property in any settlement between Joe and me, which means Joe and I still own it. Currently, the end of this court action requires one thing: that the law be upheld. The case be dismissed. I am free to go wherever I please on land that I own. And Joe's property is passed to his 3 heirs. People involved in this case had their mind set and dogged determination as to what they wanted to do with our community property. It has never been to award a fair settlement and return it to us. Oh no, heaven forbid that that would have happened. Of course, that is precisely the law. What has taken so many years is people in charge taking our community property to do with as they please, with a payment of absolutely nothing for it. They want a corporation. They want a commercial development. They want a beneficiary. They want the community property abandoned. They want me out of their way. Therefore, the false imprisonment. Therefore, they want 2 trials for me as the foundation of a 3rd trial for the purpose of getting me out of my house by putting me in prison for life so they can take over my house to do with as they please, as they have done with our land and capital improvements. People tell me, but Joe wanted and Jason did. Joe wanted a divorce and Jason took his side. If it was just up to Joe and Jason, we would certainly not be involved with the court. There would be no need for it. This way, the court just gets to blame Joe and Jason. Oh, you didn't get anything? That's Joe and Jason's fault. Joe and Jason did not attend law school, run for judge and win,
You have about a minute left.
and take an oath to uphold the law and the Constitution. That's what the judge did. That's why divorce actions are handled by the court, because the law and the Constitution are to be applied and upheld so the settlement can be fair and just under the law. I am here saying, by actions of the court, this is happening to me. It doesn't affect just me. It could happen to anybody. Do you own something that they want? I'm here to say the court can't do this. It's unconstitutional. Both the 5th and the 14th Amendments rule the government cannot take for free the private property of citizens of the United States of America. Thank you for your time.
Next presenter is Karina Cardosa.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. On behalf of Hidalgo County Precinct 4, Commissioner Joseph Palacios, I'd like to announce a town hall meeting that will be held here on Thursday, June 27, 2013, here in this Edinburgh City Hall from 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. The Commissioner and his staff will be discussing 2012 and 2013 projects, programs, and the people of Precinct 4 with issues such as parks, drainage, public safety, new facilities, road construction, and colonia beautification. So once again, the public is invited to attend on Thursday, June 27, 2013, the Town Hall gathering from Precinct 4. It will be held here at Edinburgh City Hall from 5:30 p.m. till 7 p.m. And there will be free snacks and refreshments for everyone who attends.
Yeah, Judge, and if I may add, with Karina signing up an open forum, we're going to do a series of meetings throughout our district. We have one coming up with the city of McAllen on, I believe it's October 10th, and we're taking a couple series of town hall meetings at our community resource centers. But just to involve our tax base, tell them what we're doing, and we've got a lot of good things to report, and we're just going to keep moving forward.
And the information can be found on our county website as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Karina.
You're welcome, thank you. 6A, there's nothing to report, am I correct? The session's over?
Yes, we'll report on the following.
Balde, item 7.
There's no action under 7A1 and 2. 7A1 and 2, unless there's action to be taken further down the agenda. There is an update on the courthouse portables. Is Lauro in the audience? I know, Lauro, did we get our temporary permit issued today or this week as we?
Yes, sir. As of yesterday, we got the temporary certificate of occupancy for furniture only.
Okay, and that's what we had reported last week, that we were in the process, and so we did get that occupancy. I think the construction is 100%. There's still
Yes.
some sidewalk.
Yes, the installation of the security gates will start today, this afternoon, and the sidewalks, the ADA ramps, and that should be starting today as well.
And that should be completed within the week. So we're very close to wrapping everything up so that we can approach the city for a final inspection for full occupancy of the building. And I know that the facilities management has been working with the courts on them.
Yes, they will be scheduling for the furniture to be started moving.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Next item, Balde.
Judge, Commissioners, item C, discussion and action canceling the Commissioners Court meeting of July 2nd of this year. Judge, Commissioners, in working, as we do every week with the court to make sure that we have no quorum issues, I do know that next week, everyone's schedule is such that we are going to have issues with a quorum. So I'm asking the court for us to cancel next week's meeting, and then we'll go accordingly for the following week.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item D, Judge, Commissioners, I'm asking the court to accept a settlement check from Fred Loya Insurance Agency. And that's in the amount of $470.54, and this will settle an accident with one of our county vehicles.
Approve.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item E, I'm asking the court to accept a money order from Mr. Ricardo S. Martinez. That would be in the amount of $206.42, and this again would settle damages to one of our county properties.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners.
All right, item 8A.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioner. For the record, Annette Muñiz, Chief Deputy for Arturo Guajardo Jr., Hidalgo County Clerk. We are here in regards to the Grievance Committee, Local Government Code Section 152.015.
We did.
Judge, last year, the committee was,
Annette, didn't we talk about getting the elected officials
Yes,
to
sir.
be a part of the committee?
Yes, sir, that's what I was going to say. We have 7 elected officials that will be serving on the Grievance Committee, but we also need 2 from the public. So that's what you'll be selecting.
All right.
Do you want me to go ahead and just name the elected officials?
Yes, go ahead if you
Okay,
have.
the elected officials that will be on the Grievance Committee is the sheriff, the county tax assessor and collector, the county treasurer, the county clerk, district clerk, county attorney or criminal district attorney, and the 2 members from the public. The individuals chosen, we need 2 for the committee, and we need 2 alternates. And these individuals are in accordance with the law, are from the grand jury that served last year.
How many?
2 alternate and 2 regular. 7-0.
Yes, son. Here you go.
Thank you. The first one that I'll be opening, and this is one of the members, will be Willard Moon out of McAllen. The second member will be Shannon Herrera, also from McAllen. The first alternate is Janie Gomez from Edinburgh. And the final alternate is Norma L. Cepeda from McAllen. There was 5 chosen, was that just?
What about alternates for the?
The first 4.
Well, we had 2. The 2 are the members, the first 2, and the second 2 are the alternates.
Okay.
Do you have any alternate for the elected officials?
We should,
Well.
okay.
I
Thank you,
wouldn't
Judge.
mind to. No, seriously, do we need to designate alternates for the elected official?
No, the law specifies that it needs to be the elected official.
And it specifies which ones.
What is it like? We
Yeah,
don't-
but but he's asking, I guess, if you need alternates for the elected officials.
There is no alternates. They would all have to be, and the judge is a presiding officer, even though that he doesn't vote. And that's only in the case that the grievance committee is called.
All right.
Okay? Thank
Do
you.
we need to vote on it? All right.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, yes.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, item 9, Health Department.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. Item 9A, sir, I am going to go ahead and, we don't have any action on that item. We'll deal with action on item D, sir. If there's any questions on 9A, I'll be happy to answer. Proceeding to 9B, requesting approval to process the following invoice as a claims with authority from the county treasurer to issue check after auditing procedures are completed by county auditor. This is probably the last levels of the billing, dealing with our telephone and DIR issue. As you notice on here, there is a significant credit that is being given to us, and the amount of payment is significantly less. So a lot of that hard work is credited to Mr. Ramirez and his team for really working diligently and getting this done, along with the conversion of our phone system. I need to acknowledge his hard work. Mr. Ramirez, thank you.
No, just the credits coming aboard, so we request approval on 9B, right?
Move for approval.
So, hold on, so the question that I have is, are we paying anything? Because you're saying you got a credit of 1,300, but a bill for 745, the net is gonna be a credit.
600 and something?
Well, we should pay the 745, I'm assuming this is the way this works, and obviously we will be getting credit on the next bill for 1352.72, something like that. I'm not exactly sure how AT&T applies their billing, but I could find that out and get back to you on that. sir.
You got an invoice dated on May 29 with a credit.
Yeah, just make sure we get the credit.
Oh, absolutely. We've been disputing quite a
All
bit.
right,
We've been
so you
getting-
need action to approve that.
Judge, but I don't think, based on this here, I cannot pay anything because they're giving us a credit of 1,300. They're billing us for 745, so the net effect of that is going to be a credit of
So you're going to have to wait for the next bill, and it'll be 60 days late, and you'll have a credit on it.
Yeah, otherwise they might do something.
The other thing on that, sir, is that we're still ongoing with them, so I think if we go back and look at the other bills, there still might be some monies owed by the county, so all this credit at the end will be totaled up with actual cost. There will be a bill to be paid, but it'll be significantly less due to the credits that Mr. Ramirez was able to obtain.
Yeah, Eddie,
for us.
but what happens is when I get invoices, I combine them all. And if I combine all these invoices, I don't have to pay anything. I'm going to have a credit going forward of
That's why I'm
$600.
telling you, Mr. Fraser, you're going to have to wait, not for this payment, next payment.
Correct.
And there'll be a credit, so you'll have a negative on
No,
your
no,
account.
I'm already getting a credit invoice.
No, but I mean, next month,
No, next month I'm going to have a $600 credit bill.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
So
I'll let
there's no payment to be made, that's what I'm saying.
that's your decision, Mr. Fracio. That's fine.
That's what's going to happen. Okay, you can approve it or?
I would recommend the court take action, and then if there's no payment required, he doesn't pay it. But if there is a payment required, we pay accordance to what the payment is.
all right, move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Next item is item C, requesting approval to appropriate $100,000 in the Health Administration budget for a period of 6/25/2013 through 12/31/2013. This is coming from our program income account to help pay increasing costs in dealing with laboratory costs and vaccination costs. On the vaccine costs, we're actually able to generate some return on it and actually make a little bit of a revenue on the return side, but on the lab costs, we're just having to pay the lab costs. But that's coming from our program income fund, not from the general fund.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The next item, sir, is something we've been talking about for a while, and it's finally come to fruition. Under item D, discussion of the County Healthcare Funding District as per Senate Bill 1623, signed and approved by the Governor of Texas on June 4th, 2013. You have a copy of the actual bill as part of your packet. This bill...
But let me see, do you have an extra copy? Thank you.
Eddie,
Do you
once the
need
law
it for
become
your
effective?
presentation? Do you need it?
I got it more or less, sir. Don't worry.
The law becomes effective immediately?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear a question, sir.
This law becomes effective immediately or?
It became
September 1?
effective immediately on the 16th of June
16th of June.
by the governor. He signed it. So it is in effect today.
Today, okay. Has CMS approved this creation of this? Do you know?
As far as the procedures, CMS is okay with the procedures in accordance to the law, but we're still having to develop the next level, the mechanisms. What I'm coming to court today is to get permission to develop and form the district.
I understand, but the
It's not
question is,
necessarily
has CMS signed off on this?
Yeah, CMS is involved with the discussion, and so is HHSC. HHSC during the hearings and CMS during the hearings for this law presented, and that is on state record where they actually testified at the hearings in regards to this law. CMS and HHSC had every opportunity to put any comments or concerns that they had during those hearings, and the governor of correction, the House and the Senate determined their action based on those hearings, and it became law when the governor signed it. So CMS and HHSC had every opportunity to raise concerns during those hearings. By the law passing, that the way I'm looking at it is that CMS and HHSC are in line with it.
Okay.
That's what I understand, sir. But I am not the federal government, so I can't answer for them.
Yeah, that's what the common question was, that they're aware of it and they're okay with it, basically.
Even though the law passed, I don't think it's mandatory that we accept this. I think as a county, we don't have to sign on to this. All I see is potential taxes for taxpayers. I don't trust this. We've been down this road, más o menos, before, and I don't like health service district, and I'm not too sure I like this. But if we did do this, we need a workshop, we need explanations, we need everything, the T's crossed and the I's dotted. I don't, no.
But this is effective for only 2 years, but it expires in 2016, Eddie?
Correct.
But this, it sounds, when you say the law passed and signed by the governor, it sounds like, oh my goodness, we have to do this. No, we don't. I don't think so.
Eddie, do you need a decision today?
Sir, what I need here is an action to be able to start getting the wheels in motion. It's not the actual creation today, as far as it's just because there's a series of hearings we got to go through, series of procedures we have to develop. We need to get in contact with the county tax assessor's office to develop the procedures and mechanism to collect the tax from, or collect the fee from the hospitals and get that going. We need to be able to have a series of hearings for the public to be able to give their input and give their direction. To get all these mechanisms and wheels in place, I do not feel comfortable starting any of this without your permission. And then, of course, the ultimate decision will be Commissioner's Court based on all these other procedures and steps that are going to take place.
Initially, there will not be a tax. Am I correct?
No, this is a fee that will be paid from the hospital based on up to an aggregate of 6% of the net revenue collected by the hospitals would determine the fee that will be paid by the hospitals.
And that fee will be paid into the district, and the district will be controlled or governed by the county commissioner.
The Hidalgo County Community Health Fund District would be governed by the Commissioners Court in accordance to 1623.
And what is the purpose of those monies?
The purpose of those monies would be to obtain that fee that would become intergovernmental transfer, or IGT, which would allow us to match the remaining approximately about $500 million that was left on the federal tables for this part of the state in regards to obtaining funding for uncompensated care.
And what
and
is the benefit to the county?
What is the benefit?
The increased IGT, right?
Increased ITG that increases benefits for uncompensated care and disproportionate share for hospital services in our community.
Do we get any credit on our 8 million, whatever, 8.25 million indigent healthcare?
No,
amount?
sir, that is a separate program, that is a separate entity. We are still working that $8 million program until the formal formation. This is the first step. This ends in 2016. However, between now and 2016, there is, in fact, in November, there's a constitutional amendment that's going to be placed to look at formalizing the development of a hospital district. This is a community
That will
fund.
be the taxing body that Ms. Townsend is referring to.
Correct. That's yet to be determined, and it might not even ever come to fruition depending on the November election. And that would be a statewide constitutional amendment. There was the creation of a hospital district many years ago in this county. However, there was a limitation and capitations on it. Therefore, it never came to fruition because it was financially not viable to do. Now, under this legislative change, well, potential legislative change with the constitutional amendment, it may give an opportunity for the possible hospital district to be able to remove the caps on it, which were 10%, and be able to expand that higher and to be able to get that taxing base going in place.
But this, what we're doing here today, or what you're asking us to do, will not involve the creation of a hospital district. It will only involve the creation of this district that will take care of the fees that are paid strictly by the hospitals.
That is correct. This would be the Hidalgo County Community Health Fund District, a county health fund district, excuse me.
Now, Eddie, there is an opportunity here to take advantage of administrative costs under this program, isn't there?
Correct.
Okay, now there's the benefit to the county as well. We'll be able to reduce our administrative costs for you.
There may be a potential for that. It depends on the mechanism, the way it's developed. For sure, we will be able to assess fees on any tax collection. Mr. Varela and his office would be able to administer any fees involving the tax collection from this funding, along with, there is provisions and there was some additional fees involved that the county may generate.
Up to $20,000.
Excuse me, in essence, Eddie, what the judge was asking is if we take action on this, we're not creating anything of a taxing body or giving anybody the authority to impose to increase taxes.
But this is today, allows myself and my team to work with the hospitals to develop the mechanism to formally develop the Hidalgo County Community Fund District in accordance to 1623. This is not a hospital district.
And
Basically, today you're
are the
approving
fees mandatory?
Pardon me?
Are these fees that the hospitals are supposed to pay, are they mandatory?
They're mandatory in accordance to the state law, yes, sir.
And if they don't pay, we'll have the authority to do what?
If they don't pay, they are not in compliance with the state law and they are subject to CMS and HHSC consequences.
All right.
Well, the law talks about a penalty and interest, and I'm assuming if they don't pay, then they're subject to penalty and interest?
That's correct.
So they have to pay it, otherwise
They're subject to consequences from this outlined by the law, correct.
But if they don't pay it, then you cannot leverage it, so there'll be less funds available for them, so. It's in
Right.
your best interest to.
It's
pay it.
it's not a good situation for them. I like,
Just a minute, we have Commissioner's got the floor.
okay, I'm sorry.
Explanation made by Mr. Olivares, I think it would be proper to go ahead and start the process with the understanding that we're not committing to anybody raising tax on the county, at the county level. At this point.
At this
So
point.
are you putting that in the form of a motion to approve the creation of the County Healthcare Funding District.
Come on, Tito, say yes, and I'll second it.
Yes.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Now, which
We want
item,
to make sure we
which item are you
stress
approving, Judge? Which item are you approving on this?
number two.
D2.
Item 1 and
Which
2.
one?
1 and 2.
Well, the one is a discussion, two is the approval.
Right.
We want to make sure we stress that this is not the creation of a taxing district.
Yeah.
Right. This is not. Now, Steve,
Chuck?
Well, if you have something to say, sir, you're welcome to come up here.
He's asking for a show of hands.
He's approving.
Oh, he was asking for a show of vote.
We would like to request a show of hands of who voted for it and who voted against it.
And all those who voted for it, please raise your hand. It's a
Thank you.
unanimous decision by the court.
Steve, Judge, I would like to get permission to, Steve, is there any additional comments or items you'd like to bring forward? I know you've been in contact with some of the attorneys involved with this, and you've read into this.
Well, I reviewed the law, and I've also talked to some of the people involved that are representing the hospitals. I think the main thing for people to understand is this is not a tax on any county resident. This is only a payment from each of the hospitals in the county.
Yeah.
And so there's no taxes involved. It's a mandatory payment
For right now.
for right now.
Yes, sir.
Now, there needs to be a computation of the fees involved.
That's
Are you going
after-
to do that, Eddie?
That's after,
All right, no, but
that's
my
way
question
down
is,
the
who's going to be
future.
responsible for that? Is that you already, your
The
office?
Commissioner's Court will be.
The Commissioner's Court will
Yeah, but-
determine,
right.
according
I
to
don't
the
think the
law.
commissioner's gonna do that.
Hold
The
on,
department has to do that.
hold on, Mr. Fracio. On the 1623, Commissioner's Court has the authority to determine those fees and those amounts up to a percentage indicated in the law.
Yeah, but it involves the computation of the 2010 net revenues from the hospitals. So it's a computation that needs to be done by someone. My question is, who is going to be responsible for computing those? Your office, or the budget office, or?
That's yet to be determined.
All right.
We're having a meeting this afternoon, just for you to know, there's a meeting with department heads. You've been invited, Mr. Fracio, along with Budget Office, Paul Verial from the Tax Office, the various office, the judge is invited, the chiefs of staff and commissioners are invited to this meeting at 2 p.m. at the judge's office here across the street to review the beginnings and the procedures and protocols and what is necessary to get this thing going. At that point, like Steve was saying, all that's yet to be
Eddie, work
determined.
out the details, come back and report to us. I mean, this is a way where we're going to be able to, by we, I mean the hospitals, are going to be able to access more dollars to provide indigent health care to more residents of our county.
Very good, sir, that's correct.
All right, is that it?
Yes,
Eddie,
yes, sir.
after the meeting, I would ask that you give the court a copy of the minutes,
Very good, sir.
so I'll be expecting them.
Yes, sir, no problem. And we also have Mr. Sigredo's already agreed to attend, and
understand,
along
but
with the other chiefs of
everybody-
staff. Very good.
Here you go, Eddie.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have anything to report, Oscar?
No, sir.
All right, thank you.
Rain.
Number 11, our IT department.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Judge, Commissioners, once again. I'm requesting approval on 11A. It is an MOE claims for AT&T. Again, these are the last specs of the bills as they come in. We're trying to catch them. Now, we're working with purchasing to finalize these agreements so we don't have to come to court presenting them as claims. So I'm requesting approval on 11A and B as listed.
Move for approval.
Second. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. Have a good morning.
Thank you. Item 12, Urban County.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Morning, sir.
First item is requesting approval of Urban County Program interlocal agreements with 16 member city consortium for Urban County Program Year 26, and authorization for Hidalgo County Judge Ramon Garcia to sign any and all agreements.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Next item is requesting approval of a budget and program amendment for the city of La Villa to the Urban County Program Year 16, 18, 24, and 25 work plans. The amendment will add the following project description: construction of a belt filter press and an aerobic digester at the wastewater treatment plant delete the ED Direct Financial Assistance activity by $225,000 and create a water sewer improvements activity in the amount of $225,000 for year 25.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Judge, the next items, item C, D, E, and F deal with the same thing. If it would be appropriate for the court for me to read, instead of going through C, D, and F, just read all the names of the subrecipient agreements that we are going to enter into for year 26, if that would be proper with you.
All right, sir.
Okay, the next item is requesting approval of subrecipient agreements with the following nonprofit agencies for program year 26, effective July 1st through May 31st of 2014. Number one would be Amigos del Valle Incorporated, Boys and Girls Club of Alamos San Juan, Boys and Girls Club of FAR, Children's Advocacy Center, Casa of Hidalgo County, Food Bank of Rio Grande Valley, Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council Foster Grandparent Program, Hope Family Health Center, Women Together Foundation Incorporated, Nuestra Clínica del Valle Incorporated, Lower Rio Grande Valley Metro, Boys and Girls Club of Mission, Arise South Tower, Boys and Girls Club of Edinburgh, Avance Inc., Rio Grande Valley, Camp University, Easter Seals of the Rio Grande Valley, Padre Literacy Project Incorporated, Girl Scouts of Greater South Texas, La Unión del Pueblo Entero, Hens Community Charitable Services, and Senior Community Outreach Services Incorporated. It's a total of 22 nonprofit organizations that we're going to be funding for year 26.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, sir. Item 13, elections.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. Item 13A, approval of full contract for election services between Hidalgo County and the Sherryland Independent School District for their special election to be held on June 22nd, 2013.
So move.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 14, planning.
Good morning, Judge. Commissioners, Raul Sin, Planning Administrator. Item 14A, discussion, possible action on county concurrence of plans for Pro-State Highway Improvement, Hidalgo County FM 494 Sherry Road from .38 miles north of Business 83 to .27 miles south of Expressway 83. It's a TxDOT project. They're doing an overlay and also constructing some race medians, I guess, to improve traffic safety and doing some signalization work in that area. It's already been approved by the City of Mission and the MEDC in Mission as well, and they're just asking for concurrence from the county since it's located in our county.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Great. Thank you very much.
Item 15, Precinct 1.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Morning.
We're requesting, first of all, we'd like to delete under this next item, the interlocal cooperation agreements between Mercedes, Ed Couch, and La Villa, because we already have those in place. So we're asking for approval of general services agreements with the cities of Alamo, Dana, Hueslaco, Progreso Lakes, and the city of Elsa.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
No action
What
on
about
on
number
15A2.
2?
There's no action needed on that one, Judge.
Okay, I see what you did. Thank you. I know how you covered it.
Okay.
Item 16.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. Raul Siliero, Precinct 2. Item 16A, this is representing Commissioner Palacios in accordance with Section 791.014. We're asking approval to reconstruct a portion of Cesar Chavez Road in Alamo. Under this interlocals, we require approval of the project before the approval of the interlocal. So we need approval on item 1.
So move.
Second.
Raul, is that the one that we were going to put funding in? There's not sufficient funding for 16A.
16A, there is, we're assisting the city by using our right-of-way agents to assist them with the acquisition of right-of-way.
Okay.
There's no funding. They're going to pay for the parcels themselves. Any costs that we incur from our operating costs will be invoiced to the city.
All right, those are the...
But we gotta pay for it first, so...
Yes, and the money's in place for that.
So the money is in place?
Yes, sir, the money's in place. Legal has reviewed, and the effective date is in place. Everything has been attached.
Okay. And the effective date will be today?
Yes, sir.
It's not on the agreement, but...
It's included now. And item 2 is approval of the interlocal
Okay, hold on
agreement.
just a minute. Those in favor
Sir?
of the motion to approve, and the second to approve item 16A1, say so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Okay, now, and item 2 is approval of the interlocal agreement between the City of Alamo and the County of Hidalgo to negotiate the acquisition of real property required for the reconstruction of Cesar Chavez Road.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 17, Precinct 4.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. Item 17A is the approval of the interlocal cooperation agreement between the City of Edinburgh and the County of Hidalgo for cleaning of drainage ditch.
Approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 18, our Budget Office.
Morning, Judge Commissioners. Sergio Cruz, Department of Budget Management. Item 18A is the discussion, consideration, and approval of budget amendment policy regarding personnel-related amendments. This is a policy that we had brought to court, I believe 2-3 months ago, and was subject to legal review. I have had this reviewed by both the Office of Mr. Crane and also by Ms. Ramirez at the DA's office. Basically, what this will be doing would be limiting any request or trying to curb the request for changes regarding the number of budgeted positions and the compensation of those positions, and trying to limit those changes to the annual budget cycle. There are 2 exceptions, which are the use of the discretionary funds by both the Criminal District Attorney's Office and the Sheriff's Office. They do have discretionary funds, forfeiture funds, investigation funds that they have available, and we are making that an exception to this policy.
And are you in Balde? Are you in Balde in support of it?
I'm sorry, Judge?
Are you supporting this?
Yeah, this is the original intent that the court discussed back in January, February.
Right.
But I do know that the court had expressed with respect to the sheriff and the
DA?
DA's office with respect to their operations. I know it says discretionary funds, but I think in general it was just sheriff and the DA's office with respect to their operations.
All right.
Our office is in favor of this policy, Judge Commissioners.
And actually, this policy is that nobody will get a raise, right?
Yes, it would limit any changes in compensation, and it would limit any creation of new positions that would affect the budget, and basically it limits that to only during the budget process. There is an exception in here as far as on emergency expenditures. When there is an emergency, court can declare that that's an emergency and create new positions to cover that. However, it does limit them, anything else into...
But if it's within their own budget,
That's what
as long as it doesn't affect the
No,
general
this
fund,
one would
right?
actually be, it's a little bit more strict. This is actually would now limit the number of positions and the compensation within, for that budgeted position,
In other
regardless
words-
of funds are being allocated from other positions, the deletion and creation, this would not.
In other words, if you
It's a
have
bit more
somebody
stricter,
quit,
yes.
you can go ahead and fill that position, but you can't create any.
Can't create any, right.
Or give anybody an increase.
If you, I mean, the only exception would be if you have
Only
a,
during budget.
Only during budget time.
yes, sir.
All right.
So Sergio, is this legal review and approval, is it documented somewhere?
I
can tell you
have,
mine is
yes,
documented right now because I'm making the statement.
I'm sorry?
Mine is being documented right now on the Commissioners Court minutes that we have
So you
reviewed it.
reviewed and approved?
Yes, we have.
yes. I do have emails as well I can forward to your office if that's necessary, but both legals are here if there's any.
I've seen documentation where, they send you an email back, but he's saying, for the record,
Yes.
he reviewed it and approved.
All right. At this time, I would entertain a motion on item 18A.
Second.
Motion of approval of item 18A. Motion made and seconded. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 18B, we'll be requesting no action. We're still finalizing the documents with the new pay agent, which would be Bank of New York Mellon. Basically, what happened here, Judge Commissioners, is BBVA Compass has submitted a letter to resign as their paying agent, so we'll need to have a new order assigning a new paying agent, but we'll bring back this back during the next Commissioners Court once we get the documents all finalized. Item 18C is approval to submit Form 8038CP to the Texas Department of the Treasury for the interest payment due August 15th for certificates of obligation, taxable series 2009C and 2010B, with authority for the Commissioners Court Executive Officer to sign those documents. These are the subsidy payments on those interest payments.
Second.
So here the subsidy is being reduced, right? So
The subsidy payment is being reduced because of sequestration, I believe by about 8%.
We have a motion and a second. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 18D is approval of appropriation of funds for the Justice Court Building Security Fund and the total amount of $23,900.31. This is to cover some costs on the security equipment and installation on the JP Precinct 1 office.
Move. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge Commissioners.
Item 19, purchasing.
Martha Salazar to the Purchasing Department. On 19A, we're requesting acceptance and approval to execute a modification to the original statement of work, authorization 1, through CAIC, and that was through, they were engaged through HGAC contract, and we need that in connection with consulting services to assist the county in the development of a new hazard mitigation plan. There's no additional cost. We're just fine-tuning the scope of work.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
B1 is for Precinct 1. These are claims and invoices. This is for monitoring security systems. What has occurred here is that the company was bought out. In the buying out of the company, the new company had not provided us their insurance requirements. We're looking for some alternatives so that we may have to change providers, because at this point the vendor is not very cooperative, but they have not discontinued services. They have rendered the services.
Marty, who's SAIC on the agenda item B1?
SAIC, I'd have to look up the
Is it
name.
a vendor?
That is the vendor himself.
Oh,
It
yeah.
used to be BDR.
The security depot before, I guess. Huh?
Oh, no, you're talking about ASG. He's talking about the first item.
From SAIC.
Oh.
I need action on B1.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
On C1, Precinct 2, we're requesting authority to purchase new 2013 street sweeper with the county's membership and participation through Buy Board in the amount of $154,402. That includes shipping, training, and Buy Board fees.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries.
Item B is approval to purchase two new 2014 CAT Model CT 660 dump trucks. This is also through our cooperative purchasing agreement through the National Joint Powers Alliance. Vendor is Holt, and the amount is $132,096.15 each, bringing it to $264,192.30 for both dump trucks.
So moved.
Second.
That includes the bid?
Yeah.
That's good.
Those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries.
Item 2 is accept and approve the final negotiated on-call services, appraisal services agreement with Leonel Garza Jr.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 3, also for Precinct 2, acceptance and approval of the following final construction contracts awarded through the awarded vendors as recommended and submitted through project engineer Raul Cecin, P.E., Hidalgo County's Planning Department. This is Precinct 2, Little Mexico subdivision and South Tower Estates paving and drainage improvements. That's $468,569.70. And 2 is Precinct 2's McCall Road overlay and curb and gutter improvements, also with 2GS LLC as is number 1, $408,758.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B is pursuant to Texas Local Government Code 262-031, and in the interest of expediting projects, we're asking the court to approve the precinct commissioner or his designee, in this case it would be Mr. Raul Silguero, to execute change orders that involve an increase or decrease less than $50,000, where the original price may not be decreased by more than 18% without the vendor's acceptance and approval.
Do I have a motion?
For approval.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
For Precinct 4, we're asking for exemption from competitive bidding requirements, 262024A, professional service. May I have the exemption, please?
So move.
Second.
There's motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion
Item B is presentation of the scoring grid of the 3 firms that were graded and evaluated from the pool of our geotechnical and construction materials testing pool. That was LNG at 99, TSI Laboratories 97, and PSI Incorporated 95. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of their scores?
Move for approval.
Second.
There's motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And item C is requesting authority to commence negotiations with the number 1 ranked firm of LNG.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 2, also for Precinct 4, requesting approval of professional engineering services agreement with Lefevre Engineering and Management Consultants, LLC. This is professional engineering services for job-specific project at Sunflower Road Park, Phase 1 project.
For approval.
Second.
There's motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Requesting acceptance and approval of work authorization 1 with Lefevre in the amount of $89,270, and that is for Sunflower Road Park Phase 1.
Move for approval.
Second.
Second.
There's motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And C is requesting approval of the professional engineering services agreement with Jorge Perez Consulting Engineers, LLC, DBA Perez Consulting Engineers, I think we misspelled that,
Move
for
for approval.
professional services for, it's a project-specific Curry Estates drainage improvement project.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item D is acceptance and approval of work authorization 1 for that project-specific Curry Estates drainage improvements in the amount of $16,780.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The next item is E1. This is approval of amendment to Exhibit A, Memorandum of Understanding by and between Hidalgo County Health Department and the Sheriff's Office for the purposes of prenatal health care services to inmates.
Move for approval.
Second.
There's motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
F1 is for Colonia Access Program, requesting approval of the following for the provision of construction materials testing pursuant to the current contracts. A, Supplemental Agreement 1, extending contract number 157 between Hidalgo County's Border Colonia Access Program, Precinct 4, and LNG Laboratories, effective July the 4th through the completion of the laboratory services.
Move for approval.
Second.
There's motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
B is Supplemental Agreement Number 1, extending Contract 168 between Hidalgo County Border Colonia Access Program and Precinct 3 with LNG Laboratory, effective July the 4th through the completion of the lab services.
Move for approval.
Second.
There's motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item C is Supplemental Agreement Number 1, accepting Contract Number 194 between Hidalgo County's Border Colonia Access Program under Precinct 1 with LNG, effective August 1st through the completion of the lab services.
Move for approval.
Second.
There's motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item G1 is for Colonia Access Program Precinct 3, acceptance and approval of the following CAP project number 48, Ramirez 1, 2, and 3 subdivisions between Hidalgo County and Ring Construction as submitted through the project engineer, Javier Hinojos Engineering.
Move for approval.
Second.
There's a motion second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
And A is final construction contract approved for award on May the 7th in the amount of $255,390.25.
Move for approval.
Second.
There's motion second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Item B is in accordance with Texas Local Government Code 262-031. We are requesting authority and approval for Precinct 1 or his designee, in this case, Mrs. Mona Parras, to execute change orders that involve an increase or decrease that is less than $50,000, but in no way decrease by 18% without the consent of the contractor.
Move for approval.
There's motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
H1 is for the Sheriff's Office, presentation for award of the sole responding qualifying vendor, NTC Drug Testing Services, that submitted the bid that met all specifications and requirements for Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office drug test collection services.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Item I1 for the county clerk, acceptance and approval of a license agent agreement between Hidalgo County and Texas Parks and Wildlife Department, permitting the county clerk's office to act as an agent in issuing licenses, endorsements, and similar items to individuals as authorized by Code Section 12.702, effective September 1st, 2013, expiring August 31st, 2018, with option to extend an additional 5-year period.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you, that is all I have.
Item 20, closed session. Valde. Steve,
Yes, sir.
is there a need to go to executive session?
There are items in closed session.
The close of regular agenda will go to item 20 under section 551.071 and 51.
Move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Commissioners, item 21A, real estate acquisition appropriation for same, there will be no action. Item 21B, pending and or potential litigation, there is no action. Item 21C, Judge Commissioners, I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the claim of Lenore Torres in the amount of $951.88.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 21D, claim of Jose Roberto Cantu. Judge Commissioners, again, I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $1,029.20.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 21E, claim of Edinburgh Real Estate Network. Judge Commissioners, after negotiations under this claim, I'm asking the court to entertain action in settlement of claim of Edinburgh Real Estate Network in the amount of $91,715.75.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 21F, David Duran versus Eddie Guerra et al. I'm asking the court, after a mediation that was held in the last week and a half, that the court accept in settlement of civil case number 712 CV 116 David Duran versus Eddie Guerra individually and as elected official of the County of Hidalgo, Precinct 4, Hidalgo County, Texas, in the amount of $16,250.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And item 21G, CL 13-1855A, Alberto Martinez versus Albert A. Collins and Hidalgo County. Judge Commissioners, this was a claim that was being facilitated by Ms. Josephine Ramirez's office of the county. There was a suit that was filed for disclosure purposes. Ms. Josephine Ramirez's office will continue handling this matter. And again, for the record, it's Alberto Martinez versus Albert A. Collins and Hidalgo County. I have no further items.
Need a motion to adjourn?
So, second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you, gentlemen.
This is the the members.